Hello, we are continuing with the May 2023 higher paper from Edexcel, and we are doing question 2. Question 2 is a question about it's regarding subtraction of mixed numbers. So there is more than one way of doing this. I'm going to show you 2 ways, and you can decide which method you prefer. So the first method is where you simply convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions and then you subtract. And then you subtract. And to convert mixed numbers into improper fractions, if I give you an example, not using any of the numbers in the question, for instance, if we have 5 3/4, to convert this into an improper fraction, you simply multiply how many quarters in 5 whole, and then you add on the additional quarters that you have. So 4 times 5 is 20, so 20 quarters in 5 whole, plus the 3 that you have already, and that gives you 23 quarters. So that's how you convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. The second method that I'm going to show you is requires a couple more stages, but you may prefer it. And what I'm going to do is the danger when you are subtracting mixed numbers is that the first part of the fraction part, the first fraction part, will be smaller than the second fraction part. And you may notice that 3/8 is actually smaller than a half. So you don't want to simply subtract the whole numbers and then subtract the fraction part, because you may, if you have a first part of the fraction is smaller than the second fraction, you're going to end up with a negative, and then it becomes a little bit more involved. So the other way to do it is to compensate and assume that the first fraction part is smaller than the second one, and make an allowance for that. And the way that you do that is you take 1 from the first whole number, and the 1 that you take away, you put it with the first fraction. So instead of 7 3/8, you've kept the 6 separate, you've taken the 6 away, but you've given 1 to the 3/8 to compensate in case 3/8, and you may have noticed that actually 3/8 is smaller than a half, but to compensate that if the first fraction is smaller than the second fraction, you won't end up then with negative numbers and then have to rethink. So if we've taken 6, we've taken 1 away from the 7, now we only have 6. So there, instead of 7 take away 6, 7 take away 2, it'll be 6 take away 2. So we have the 1 3/8. We're still going to take away the half from that. And I've shown you how to convert a mixed number into an improper fraction. Remember that in both cases, you're going to need a common denominator when you're subtracting or adding fractions. Don't forget, you're going to need a common denominator. Okay, and the way I like to get my common denominator is I look at the larger denominator, and if the larger denominator is a multiple of the other denominator, then I use the larger number as my common denominator. If not, then you can look for the lowest common multiple, or you can simply multiply the denominators together to get your common denominator. Now I suggest that you pause, have a go at the question using either method, and then come back and check your solution. Okay, so you're back, and we'll try do the question in using both methods, and then you can see which one you prefer. So if we are going to convert the mixed numbers, 7 and 3 over 8 is equal to 8 times 7 is 56, plus 3 is 9, so we have 59 over 8. And 2 and a half is equal to 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, so that's 5 over 2. And then we're going to subtract, so we have 59 over 8, subtract 5 over 2. Now remember I said that I'm going to look at the larger denominator, and if that is a multiple of the other denominator, then I'm going to use it as my common denominator. So 8 will be my common denominator, and because my denominator has remained the same, the numerator on top of that will remain the same. We're subtracting. Now, how did we get from 2 to 8? We multiplied by 4, so we have to do the same thing on top. So 5 times 4 is 20. 59 minus 20 is 39 over 8, which is 8 goes into 39. This is now we're converting the improper fraction back into a mixed number. So 8 into 39 goes 4. 4 times 8 is 32, and 39 take away 32 is 7. So your answer is 7 over 8. Now we can try, we can use the other method as well, just to make sure and show you that you do get the same answer. So we're doing the 7, we took the 1 away from 7, so now we're left with 6. And that 1 that we took away the 7, we're going to give it to the 3/8. And that 3/8 is now going to subtract the half. So once again, I have a mixed number, so I'm going to convert that into an improper fraction. So 1 times 8 is 8, plus 3 is 11, 11 over 8, minus a half, which is, again, my 8 is going to be the common denominator, and the denominator has stayed the same, so the numerator will stay the same. 2 times 4 is 8, 1 times 4 is 4, and we're subtracting, so 8 take away 4. And here, 11 take away 4 is 7 over 8. Now, going back to the beginning, remember from the 7 at the beginning of this mixed number here, we took 1 away, so we were left with 6. So now, instead of 7 take away 2, it's going to be 6 take away 2, which is 4. And then we put our answer together, so our final answer is, we can say that 7 and 3/8 take away 2 1/2 is equal to 4 and 7/8. So either way, you will get the same answer, but you can decide which method you prefer. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I'm happy to answer your questions.